There's never been a better time to be young, free and in possession of an A2 licence. The Yamaha R3 and KTM RC 390 are the two newest A2 friendly sports bikes, and we've been testing them back to back to find out which is best. They both come in at a shade under £5,000. The KTM costs £4,998 and the Yamaha a bit less at £4,799. Thanks to its orange trellis frame, power parts sticker kit and Acropovic exhaust, our KTM looks like it means business, like a pucker little race bike. The Yamaha R3 is sharply styled but less aggressive and more reserved. If looks don't matter too much, power certainly does, and if I was on an A2 licence, I'd want as much as I was allowed. The R3 has a 321cc parallel twin engine that makes 42 horsepower, while the RC 390's 373cc single cylinder motor makes 44 horsepower and is bang on the A2 power to weight limit. Power delivery from the Yamaha is predictable and smooth everywhere, and the R3 delivers its best when it's revving hard, especially once the needle hits 9,000 RPM, when it surges towards the 13,000 RPM red line with an urgency that's missing lower down in the range. It feels well, and the R3 makes easy work of slow speed, stop-start town riding. Same can't be said of the KTM though. It's not hard to ride in town, but it has got a more aggressive low-speed throttle response, meaning it's just got less kind of refined stop-start filtering manners. The RC 390 also has an engine with a bolder character than the R3's, along with more instant torque. Where the Yamaha comes alive when it's being pinned, KTM single piston means it's more exciting at lower revs. KTM's engine can feel like it runs out of revs too quickly, hitting the limiter at just over 10,000 RPM. It's getting into its stride at about 5k, and I found it easy to hit the limiter if I wasn't constantly thinking about its insatiable lust for the next gear. Because of this, I found the KTM shift light a bit annoying. It comes on at around 7,500 RPM as a friendly reminder to flick the gear lever up, but then just stays on. I had the most fun on the KTM on twisty, tight roads where there were lots of opportunities to use the engine's grunt. The Yamaha was good here too, but because of its revvy engine, it's most enjoyable with the needle hovering near the red line on a fast and flowing road. Make no mistake though, both these bikes encourage you to ride them as fast as they can go, which is a little over 100 miles an hour. The top speed might not be massive, but they are exciting. Because of their capacities, both are exploitable on the road without doing prison figure speeds and getting home feeling like you need to lock the door and hide in a cupboard for the next 12 hours. Both bikes are reined in by adequate brakes, but the Yamaha's single front disc twin pop caliper felt better than the 390s with a bit more instant bite. The KTM feels better when the anchors are on hard because the right position puts you more over the front wheel, creating a sensation of the tyre burying itself into the road, although the R3's chassis feels more stable when you're really scrubbing off speed. Both bikes are comfortable and user-friendly with high bars that allow plenty of steering angle, and it also means that new and younger riders aren't pitched kind of arse up, head down. The Yamaha doesn't feel as sporty as the KTM. After jumping on the RC 390, I realised just how much more upright the R3 is, whereas the KTM feels more like a scaled-down sports bike. Both handle well, and their diminutive size and agility equal enormous fun on fast-flowing roads or twistier tarmac, irrespective of whether you're kind of grabbing them by the scruff of the neck or being smoother than Barry White on date night. They share soft suspension that, for the most part, handles British roads with aplomb. KTM just loses out to the Yamaha because of its softer rear end. Sitting on the RC 390 makes the WP shock sag a fair bit, and it easily uses the rest of its travel dealing with average road surfaces, and it doesn't take much for it to get flustered. The KTM comes on a set of Metzeler Sportec M5 Interact tyres, which I preferred to the Yamaha's Michelin Pilot Streets. The Metzelers provided good, consistent grip on a range of surfaces ranging from kind of smooth to sketchy and in different temperatures. The Michelins on the R3 are fine, but they never gave me as much confidence as the rubber on the KTM. I really like the R3's simple, clear and easy to read dash. It worked without fault, unlike the KTM's all-digital affair, which suffered from an intermittent neutral light. Never trusted the KTM's fuel gauge either, because it would go from saying it had 20 miles of petrol left to 10 in the space of just a few minutes. The R3 isn't perfect though. There are a few places where it's evident that it's been built to a price. The top yoke is slabby and ugly, and the bars meet the fork tops with kind of chunky metal brackets which look like scaffolding joints. The rear sets, rear brake pedal and heel plates also look cheap. So both deliver optimum A2 thrills but have quite distinct characters. The KTM is more aggressive looking and feeling, the Yamaha smoother and almost commuter-ish in contrast, but it's just as much fun given a thrashing. If you're after a flexible, friendly but fun engine in a bike that can do anything with ease and still reward when caned, the more graceful R3 is the one for you. The KTM is sexier, less compromising and more engaging and more exciting for it. It's a close call, but I suppose I have to call it, so the KTM wins. It's less refined than the Yamaha and does have a few more flaws, but it's a proper little sports bike with bags of character and performance that demands your attention.